election interference, and they go out and they ask you to post a $500 million bond. Maria, I want to put that in context. No one's ever seen a bond this size. Every single person, when I came to them saying, hey, can I get a $500 million bond? Maria, they were laughing. They were laughing. Yeah. They're making him do something that's not physically possible. Putting up a $500 million bond, bonds that size don't exist in this country.
We've also heard there's a lot of talk about this is unprecedented amount of money. This has never happened before, but that's actually not true. Let's take a look. This is from Letitia James, the Attorney General's own court papers. I'm going to show it to you right now. There have been bigger bonds in the history. Look, from $1 billion to $1.5 billion, that was a Carnegie Mellon patent case. Those are public companies. What is about the argument that this has never been this big for a private company? Well, there have been billion-dollar bonds secured before.
Oh, that's gonna hurt!
Okay, I'll admit it. I'm looking for any excuse to talk about Trump bonds so that I can have another chuckle at this meme.
You know what I'm unhappy with?
Trump appearing in court yet again today. It was the same old playbook. Witch hunt, hoax, corrupt, I'm the victim.
Thank you very much, everybody. You getting a positive? This is a witch hunt, it's a hoax. Thank you.
Because how many victims do you know that are able to berate judges?
And he's going to keep saying them because that's what it is.
Well, and Emily, you pointed out, he's also said respect to the court. He will do what he is told to do. And you think that works for him?
We have a lot of examples of people who disrespect the court when they disagree with their ruling. President Trump is not one of them.
This is a judge that should be disbarred. This is a judge that should be out of office. This is a judge that some people say could be charged criminally for what he's doing. He's interfering with an election, and it's a disgrace. Thank you very much.
Mr. Trump, why do you want to be here?
This is I think it's a very sad day for America. But anyway, this is a case that should have never been brought, and it's a case that should be immediately dismissed. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Violate gag orders and have the prosecutor investigating him put on the stand.
Well, no, look. I object to you getting records. You've been intrusive into people's personal lives. You're confused. You think I'm on trial. These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial.
And walk free to tell the tale. And speaking of privilege, after it was announced this week that Trump would have his bond cut by more than half, because again, how many average citizens would get that kind of treatment?
Donald Trump had struggled to come up with any insurance company that was able to put forward a bond of more than $450 million on his behalf. Now, just in a statement a few moments ago, Donald Trump did explicitly say, I want to read it for you, quote, "We will abide by the decision of the appellate division and post either a bond, equivalent securities, or cash." For Donald Trump, he is guaranteeing there that he will, within the next 10 days, be able to put up a bond or be able to cover this in cash. This has been at the heart of the question, Andrea. We, as the public, do not know how much liquid cash Donald Trump actually has at his disposal, despite suggesting he had $500 million in a social media post last week.
It comes after Trump and the son he never hugged complained that the original bond asked of him was unprecedented, like nothing anyone has ever seen before, right? No, of course not.
You know what? It was a crooked number. There are no victims. There is no number. Right. The number should be zero. My father's run a great company. I run a great company. We've never had a default. We've never missed a payment. We've never been in a breach of covenant. Every single one of our lenders came out, and he goes out and the judge comes out and says, you know, I want to take disgorgement. I want to go back and I want to take interest rates that you paid on mortgages and put it up to 10, 11, 12% and go back 20 years. And we already won this in the appellate court. The appellate court already said that there's a statute of limitation, that 99% of what he put in there is thrown out. But this size, every single person, when I came to them saying, hey, can I get a $500 million bond? Maria, they were laughing. They were laughing. Yeah. Top executives of the largest surety companies had never seen anything of this size. And what, they're going to start seizing assets?
We actually do know that this wasn't true at all. Not even close. But what I didn't come to expect was this full throttle fact check on Fox News of all places. Graphics and all.
We've also heard there's a lot of talk about this is unprecedented amount of money. This has never happened before, but that's actually not true. Let's take a look. This is from Letitia James, the Attorney General's own court papers. I'm going to show it to you right now. There have been bigger bonds in the history. Look, from $1 billion to $1.5 billion, that was a Carnegie Mellon patent case. Those are public companies. What is about the argument that this has never been this big for a private company? Well, there have been billion-dollar bonds secured before.
Yeah, I think that, it's certainly true there have been large bonds. It all has to do with the amount of the judgment itself. And here you've got $500 million judgments. You're talking about a lot of money. The purpose of the bond is to secure those funds for the plaintiff, here, the state of New York, at the end of the appeal, to make sure they can collect. And so it says, hey, if you're a defendant and you want to appeal, you can do that. But we have to make sure to save the money in case the plaintiff gets to collect it. And so the bond is huge. There's no reason it can't be split up into smaller bonds. You could do 5 bonds issued by 5 different companies for $100 million. And I suspect Trump's team is looking at that.
Now, I won't get too excited. This, of course, does not mark the redemption of Fox News' soul, considering earlier in the week, a host blatantly asked a billionaire to front Trump's bond.
But Kevin O'Leary, I think this is where it's going to go. Now, I was wondering, if he can't get to the Supreme Court, will you loan him the $460 million? Just to help, in order to protect America's name. Think of it that way.
To get the bond, he was able to get the 90+ million from Chubb.
Yeah.
I don't know of a bond more than 90 million. I don't recall one.
Yeah.
And so you need cash to back up the bond insurance. And so now we're talking about the terminology of seizing assets. That actually, that's foreign language to an American investor.
Right.
They want due process. They want the appeal. That sounds like Venezuela. It sounds like Cuba. Mm-hmm. It's a really bad look for New York, but I think it's gone beyond New York now. Bipartisan participants and financial services managers are not okay with this. And getting very uncomfortable. And I think whether it's the Supreme Court that provides the adult supervision, whether it's somebody else, we desperately need for this kid's party for the adults to get home.
Yeah.
We need them to come home now.
I guess it's either that or relying on a foreign country to bail them out.
It's illegal what they're doing. It's criminal what they're doing. And it's never been done before in this country. You can't have an election in the middle of a political season. We just had Super Tuesday, and we had a Tuesday after a Tuesday already. And we had Louisiana the other day, a couple of days ago.
Because that's not alarming at all, is it?
Is there any effort on the part of your team to secure this money through another country, Saudi Arabia or Russia, as Joy Behar seems to think?
Well, there's rules and regulations that are public. I can't speak about strategy that require certain things, and we have to follow those rules. Like I said, this is manifest injustice. It is impossible. It's an impossibility. I believe they knew that. I think that's why mid-trial, frankly, they changed their ask from $250 million to the ridiculous amount of money that they've asked for. I think everything is done intentionally. I do not doubt that the witch hunt, that the election interference goal is what was ringing steady and loudly and true throughout all these trials, frankly. And we're seeing it. It's the demise of our country, not the demise of Trump. So we'll handle it as we always have and keep our heads up and keep working hard.
Okay. Keep us posted on the effort. We look forward to speaking with you again. Thank you very much, Alina Habba, joining us today.
But in the latest white collar ruling, a New York appeals court said that Donald Trump has to just post $175 million in 10 days to meet the terms of the $464 million civil fraud judgment.
So we're getting in a response from the AG in New York on this bond, and I'm just going to quote it to you. It says, Donald Trump is still facing accountability for his staggering fraud. The court has already found that he engaged in years of fraud to falsely inflate his net worth and unjustly enrich himself, his family, and his organization. The $464 million judgment plus interest against Donald Trump and the other defendants.
Which, let's face it, it's a lifeline for the former president. A lifeline that is not offered to real victims entangled in the financial quicksand that is the US justice system. But the thing is, when you're wealthy and white, yes, they just let you do it.
And I look now, even last night I was saying it, I said, I don't care, Andrew Jackson or anybody else, nobody has, when you think of the fake things, nobody's been treated like Trump in terms of badly.
That's the thing. Trump always argues that he is receiving special treatment and being prosecuted against. But the fact is that he is given so much more latitude than a typical defendant. There is no way a criminal defendant would have been able to get the district attorney prosecuting his case on the stand to question the sharing of payments regarding personal private trips. It just wouldn't happen. The judge would have ruled based on the facts given to him in the affidavit because he had more than enough facts to decide whether a conflict occurred.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.